Hi, I'm Luke.
And I'm Cameron.
And this is App to Date. We've had some interesting news regarding online privacy in the last few weeks with the Red Onion app, Bleep Encrypted Messenger and the incredibly popular FireChat. But this week it appears that we have a major new player entering the field, set to be released in the next few weeks. Facebook are launching a service which allows users to discuss topics whilst not connected with their real names. Now, there's not much we can tell you about this at the moment because there isn't really much to know other than a few Facebook insiders have sort of let it leak that this is going to be happening. Is it something that would interest you, Cameron?
Definitely. Not that I really use Facebook all that much, but if I did decide to jump on the Facebook train, and I know a lot of people have issues with being scared to put things up on Facebook because of either family, employers, friends, people that they don't want to offend or be seen in a particular light. Well, maybe this is the solution for that. If people want to discuss, I don't know, their darkest desires on Facebook, then they can secretly.
See, I don't know if it will be directly integrated inside Facebook itself. I think it might be an external app. I just don't trust Facebook that much. I don't trust that they're actually encrypting it. I don't trust that they're not in bed with the NSA or all this sort of conspiracy sort of stuff. But the stuff you do online is monitored.
Yeah, well,
it's not directly monitored to you, but it is monitored. And I think that Facebook are one of the worst offenders.
I know you're saying that, Luke. I can guarantee that if this rolls out, that we'll see targeted ads based on the things that you've been engaging with in this anonymous version of Facebook creeping into your main profile. So although what you've been discussing might be secret, I'm sure that whoever's looking over your shoulder when you're on your normal Facebook profile will notice in the right-hand corner of the screen app functions creeping into your main Facebook profile. Because I know things that I've mentioned in Messenger have then appeared on Facebook in the ads. So if I mention a particular book, a game, whatever, there it is.
We've got some more iOS-related news regarding Facebook.
We do indeed. Recent updates to the code of the Facebook Messenger app for iOS 8 suggest the friend-to-friend payment feature is due for release shortly. This story was first reported by TechCrunch, with the alleged feature being discovered by Stanford computer science student Andrew, who is said to have made his discovery using an iOS app exploration developer tool called Cryptic. According to Andrew, the peer-to-peer transfer feature will allow users to send money with their debit cards in a similar way to Square's Cash App. Andrew's report also notes that the messenger payment option will allow users to send money in a message in a very similar fashion to how they send a photo. Users will also be able to add new debit cards to each message or use a previously registered debit card that they have with Facebook. He also states that an in-app PIN code also exists for added security around payments. So would you trust Facebook to send payments to your friends, Luke?
I've already said it. I just do not trust Facebook with any of my personal information or data. I certainly wouldn't trust them with my card because they in the last few years they've been very sneaky, especially on pages and things with paid posts and making it monetized. And you've got no option but to monetize it in order to reach your own audience. Integrating my card payment automatically into Facebook is not something I'd want to see happen because then they might exploit it in other ways. Last thing about Facebook today, Facebook's purchase of WhatsApp has now amounted to $22 billion, but Zuckerberg still denies plans to monetize the app. Facebook finalized their takeover of mobile messaging service WhatsApp on Monday despite the opposition from telecoms companies and even in an EU court case. Facebook is now set to dominate the mobile messaging market with 600 million WhatsApp users to add to Facebook's already impressive 850 million users. The app only charges a 69p annual subscription fee, which is waived for the first year. I don't trust Facebook.
Well, he doesn't. Well, Luke doesn't trust Facebook. I suppose, Luke, you feel that Facebook are becoming this kind of big brother, taking over telecommunications left, right and centre, targeting ads to everyone, checking out what you're Googling, checking out what you're searching, seeing every single site you're visiting or based on their like widget. Do you think Facebook are becoming too big?
The fact that they can see what you buy in other stores, it's like in the good old days, if you went down to a Woolworths and bought yourself a knife, the butcher wouldn't come up to you and go, if you like knives, you'll probably like pork. I'm not particularly a big fan of them always knowing what you're going to buy. I wouldn't want the butcher knowing it as much as I want some guy over in over in New York knowing what I'm doing or wherever Facebook's based.
I think that's a really good point, actually. I like that a lot. Yeah, people traditionally wouldn't keep light-hearted. Yahoo also plan to invest in Snapchat. So we've got loads of these huge companies taking over or buying these super apps like Snapchat. Snapchat, the peer-to-peer self-destructing photo messaging app, has not been short of offers to be bought out in the last few years, turning down a buyout from Facebook last year for $3 billion because it was deemed just too low. Now, however, unconfirmed reports have surfaced indicating that Chinese e-commerce giant Alibaba has been considering investing in Snapchat. 40% of Alibaba is owned by Yahoo co-founder Jerry Yang, who invested in the Chinese e-commerce giant in 2005 for $1 billion. The investment has paid off handsomely for Mr. Yang in recent years, and now he's considering buying up Snapchat for $10 billion. We'll keep an eye out on this one and let you know what developments we find.
It's important to bear in mind, I think the people who currently own Snapchat are pretty stubborn. Last year they were offered $3 billion from Facebook, like you say, and they turned it down outright. So maybe they just want to keep it. Maybe it's not for sale. But I guess we'll find out in the long term. As with the first story we had today, there's not much to say about it because this is just leaked information. None of it's official, and Yahoo are actually refusing to comment on it in any way at the moment.
I really don't see what all the fuss is about Snapchat. A self-destructing messenger app. There are hundreds of thousands of these out there. Ones that are a lot better than Snapchat, and I really don't think it's worth $10 billion. I think that actually Facebook dodged a bullet with Snapchat. I think it's a good thing that they didn't actually buy it, and I think Yahoo, if they do get it, it's not going to last.
I think that's an exclusive. Snapgate.
Snapgate, yeah, no, really. I mean, we've had a lot of controversy with things that Apple have been up to and things that other companies have been up to regarding privacy. But Snapchat's one of the things that it's largely overlooked. And I personally, I don't trust the app. I just don't like it. I don't think it's worth $10 billion. Yeah, if it wasn't a free app, no one would pay for Snapchat.
Yeah.
I mean, I heard so many people complaining that it had gone up to 69p after a year of use. I think it's a little bit ridiculous that they're complaining about that because I'm used to paying for apps. I like buying premium apps because of the quality you get with that, which I don't think you do get with Snapchat.
Microsoft updates the OneDrive for iOS, integrates Outlook web app browser for business users.
Do you want to put an and in there instead?
Yeah, I don't know why I've got a
We
semicolon.
have a semicolon. We have a semicolon in our script.
And, okay, fantastic. Microsoft updates OneDrive for iOS and integrates Outlook web app for business users. Some great new features have been added to the One app for iOS this week. We think some of them are worth a good mention. On Wednesday, Microsoft updated the One app drive for iOS with some great new security features, including a new feature that allows users to log in using their Touch ID and PIN code lock. Amazing. A new feature that allows you to log in using your Touch ID and the PIN code lock. The app's design has received a slight tweak to fit the bigger iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus, and it's unveiled a new way to share files over the Outlook web app and OneDrive for Business, which has become fully available as of November. The new file sharing allows you to upload the file to the OneDrive and send a link rather than uploading the file as an attachment on your email, as well as finally adding a file sorting feature which allows you to sort files by name, date, size on the iPhone or iPad, which it should have already been on there, to be honest. They had that on, the first Windows computers. They should have had that feature on it for years. Currently, the OneDrive for Business integration is available on the Outlook web app for iPad and iPhone, and the Outlook web app Android phone is at pre-release at the moment. Microsoft says that it's working to bring the integration to the Outlook desktop client for the future version.
Oh, well, to me it sounds like they're emulating its application suite. Basically, we've got the Adobe Creative Cloud. You can now download a host of apps which work in conjunction with your desktop application. So we've got the light versions of Photoshop, we've got light versions of Lightbox. A lot of people now are syncing their SLRs with their iPads, with their iPhones. They can quickly edit, quickly look at images, and then send them through the cloud to their desktop for further processing, and I think it's great. Hopefully that Windows will be able to pull this off as smoothly as Adobe appear to have. I know I've used quite a few of the Adobe apps with my iPad in conjunction with the desktop applications, and I use some of them for my trip in Scotland actually, which we will talk more about later.
Yeah, the Touch ID feature is certainly an intelligent feature to have on the OneDrive. I know it's in a few banking systems now. So yeah, well done Microsoft. Well done. The file sharing for it is sort of in the style of Dropbox, so you know the way it just uploads and you just send the link. So I'm not massively impressed, but I am impressed that they've integrated it all in one. It's quite clever.
Yeah, it sounds like they've taken the best parts of Dropbox, the best parts of Adobe, and they've created this. The new Kindle has an integrated Washington Post app. Washington Post plans to tie the newspaper in with the Amazon empire with a built-in Kindle tablet news app to reach a wider audience. The Washington Post app would be a pre-installation for free in the new 8.9-inch Kindle tablet. Other versions of the app would be available for Apple and Android devices for free, according to the report. Do you think news is built into digital devices enough already?
No, I don't. I think it's a great shame. They've spent a lot of time trying to get into this new digital world in terms of journalism, and I think they've totally been outrun. A few years ago, a blogger wasn't a journalist, but now they seem to have actually overtaken who were formerly professional journalists in papers. They've totally failed to this point to adapt to the ever-changing environment of the digital world whilst they kept selling their papers. I don't know why this is, but I'm glad that they're slowly beginning to come forward. I mean, they've always had websites, and they've always had certain ways to read the magazine. Well, in the last couple of years, they've had ways to read their magazines and newspapers online, but I don't think they've actually fully got themselves into it, if you know what I mean. It's sort of the side thing for them still. Selling the actual paper is still the main thing for them, and it should be down to the journalism and getting it to people the best way they can, for the most cost-effective way they can for the people and them. A little bit of innovation in the industry would be good at the moment. It's me and Cameron have discussed this several times, but 89% of the Fortune 500 from 1955 don't exist anymore because of a failure to adapt to a modern environment. Thank goodness newspapers are beginning to adapt, but is it too late? Google rolls out a bill reminder feature for its search app for Android and iOS. Google on Tuesday has officially updated its search app for Android and iOS platforms with the availability to show upcoming and past bills dug out from the user's Gmail accounts. I don't really think it's a good thing that Google know even more about you than they already do. I'm quite a private person when it comes to online. I mention it all the time. I like to be private, and I don't think they need to know when all my bills are. I know it's a good feature for me, but I think in no way does it actually is it beneficial to me any more than the calendar app is that's already pre-installed on my phone. I don't see the point in Google knowing it.
Well, for all our listeners out there, Luke is paranoid conspiracy theorist who believes Facebook and Google are out to conquer the world. Sometimes I agree with him, and in this case, perhaps I probably wouldn't want a private company to have an entire list of my bills, mainly because it's kind of free market research for them. I mean, they know what I've bought, so maybe we'll see again with the sponsored ads, targeted ads. Oh, my Gmail account is linked to these bills. What can we spam him that he's more likely to buy? I mean, Facebook do it, Google obviously do it, and maybe this is just an extension of that. People's data has been massively exploited in every way imaginable. They offer us these services which complete kind of menial tasks in exchange for what's actually really valuable information, which is worth, billions of dollars or billions of pounds to companies like Google and Facebook. And yeah, I mean, I guess more people need to cotton on to the fact that their data is a commodity which is out on the market being bought and sold right now, and they should be more protective of it, maybe. More news from Google, with their weather app for iOS now available for download. Google, in its latest effort to make some of its more popular services available for Apple's iOS platform, has released the Google News and Weather app for iPhone and iPad. The download is only 10 megabyte. It runs for iOS 7 and upwards, so it's not iOS 8 exclusive. The new Google News and Weather app for iOS also brings a Google account sign-in option for personalised news and coverage from 65,000 publications. Not bad. So why is Google releasing so much on the iOS platform at the moment, Luke? What do you think?
I think they're just trying to show off the features that they have. Apple would never be. Apple are so vain that they would never market on the Google device. But Google would happily give you a little bit of what you could get from an Android device in order to make you swing over there for next time. You would never do with Apple because you wouldn't get Apple calendars or Safari on a Google phone.
So do you think that's a good marketing move?
I have no idea.
We'll see. Right, and this is my favourite part of the show, the game review section. I've been playing several games this week, and my favourite of which is Adventure Express by Adult Swim and Pickpop. This game is excellent. It helped me get through 2 absolutely horrendous 15-hour coach journeys, and having never played a puzzle RPG before, I did have my doubts. But the combination of bold colours and sketchy hand-drawn graphics pulled me in, and I'm really pleased it did. I honestly haven't been able to put this game down, and I've introduced it to a few friends who can't put it down either. Basically, you take the role of a hero courier, battling your way through various stages on a world map to deliver mail, and in doing so earn gold to upgrade your weapons and armour to overcome tougher opponents.
Oh, that's just my life anyway.
Yeah, I know, Luke, I know. The game gives you a strange sense of power, with each attack proving you're smart enough to complete the puzzle by matching the 3 rune tiles in a row, and strong enough to smash your enemy to death with a bowling pin or fire spell. The sensation is embarrassingly addictive. The only drawback I've found has been the annoying ads that pop up on the equipment screen, and I'd like Adult Swim to know that I would pay to remove these ads, so please enable a feature for paid ads removal. Another game that's hit the featured iOS app games this week is Brave Knight app. It's had a lot of criticism, and rightly so. I really would not bother with this game. It might be a charming little story highlighting the journey of life, but it's definitely not a game, and it's definitely not worth 69p. It lasts probably around 2 minutes, and involves awkwardly typing text onto your screen in an incredibly unresponsive fashion. So avoid that game, please. It has nothing to do with Brave Knights. And the other flop of the week is the Pokemon card game. For iOS has been torn apart by fans of the franchise for only being available for Retina display devices, and for its overly westernised characters that appear like something out of a Bratz doll movie and nothing like traditional Pokemon characters at all. The loading times have been embarrassingly slow, the game is completely unresponsive, and the animation is incredibly poor. One of the review comments I found interesting was by Stephen King 85, who described the game as a long wait met with disappointment, giving it only 2 stars.
Actual Stephen King?
Actual Stephen King.
Wow.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah, he came away from the Shawshank Redemption and started playing Pokemon.
Yeah, well, what he said is that the mechanics and controls are dated, art style is absolutely awful, everything looks off-brand, almost to the extent where the game seems like a knockoff. With tablet-based card games like Hearthstone on the market, it makes this seem like a pitiful effort. So Pokemon have completely and utterly destroyed hopes of their fans at having a decent Pokemon card game for iOS devices, and that's quite sad. I've seen the most reviews have been 1 to 2 stars. They trialled this game in Canada, where apparently it was quite successful.
Well, I've played my fair share of Pokemon as a child and as an adult. I'm not going to download this app and have a look at it because you've already hyped it up to make it quite a tragic thing for me. But I hate to see childhood characters off brand. If you were to have a spin-off of Bart Simpson as a grown man, it wouldn't be right, and it's not right.
No, it's kind of a betrayal of the franchise.
Cameron's been up in Scotland this week checking out some GPS apps. Take it away, Cameron.
Hi, I'm Cameron from iOS App News 24, here in the West Highlands of Scotland, in the Nevis Mountain Ranges, home to the highest mountain in Britain, Ben Nevis, testing GPS apps for your iOS device. I also got to go on the only mountain gondola in the UK, so that was great. But more importantly, I've been testing GPS apps, and very thoroughly. I started with Google Maps and several other navigation apps, but almost all of them needed a Wi-Fi connection, huge memory space, or cost a considerable amount of money. I'm talking £50 upwards here, Luke. This is, if I'm going to trek off to Scotland, I don't want to add an extra £50 just for a map to my costs. However, the GPS Great Britain app was completely different to anything else I could find. It works with Ordnance Survey maps, so you can rent or purchase the maps for the area you require, saving you memory and money. I mean, it's fantastic. I rented a map for the Fort William region, which included the Nevis mountain range. It was fantastic. It cost me only $3.99. I could have purchased the map for $9.99. And to some of you out there, that might sound a lot of money. But if you think, okay, the alternative is to buy a specialised GPS device, which, I mean, it could be in the hundreds of pounds. There are cheaper versions available, but I highly doubt they would be as accurate as this device was, or as this app was. I've also tested compass apps in the past which have been terrible, but I can safely say that the GPS Great Britain app was almost 1-to-1 accuracy. It was facing exactly the direction I was. In real time, there was no delay between where I was looking and where the app was showing me. I was also able to record the route and statistics of my journey, which includes the start and end time and date of the journey duration, the total journey distance, the total distance I'd climbed, and the average and top speeds, which was fantastic. I really pushed this app completely to its limits by recording the journey on the coach from Fort William in Scotland back to Kent, which was over 500 miles. And now this app has been designed for people on foot or cycling. It was never created with these kinds of distances in mind. So when we left Manchester, or the journey between Manchester and London, which was after 350 miles of travelling, the app did glitch out. I mean, we have to be honest about this. And it showed a straight line between Manchester and London, and apparently I was travelling at a top speed on this huge coach of about 120 something miles an hour. I have a really cool screenshot of that, which we're uploading to the Free Deal website for you to take a look at. But I mean, this just shows this is a fantastic app. It worked in standby. It only used 10% battery while running the app in 2.5 hours. So for every 5 hours, you're using 20% of your battery. I mean, that's fantastic. If you're going on a long journey or you're going hiking in the mountains, you can put the app in standby, have it track your journey, and forget about it. I mean, you don't need to worry about your battery running out because it depletes so little energy. Also, it's completely internet free. I had no connection whatsoever. But something people need to bear in mind is a lot of users of GPS apps download this and they think, oh, I don't need the internet, so I can put my iPad in sleep mode and save even more memory. Don't do this. This is a really common mistake. If you put your iPad in sleep mode, it disables the GPS. It disables the built-in GPS system. You can turn your Wi-Fi off. That's not a problem. So keep your iPad out of sleep mode, and it will monitor wherever you're going, how fast you're going, and when you're going to get there. It's absolutely fantastic, and I highly recommend it for anyone.
One last thing for the podcast, a closing note, if you will. We have found a bundle online which we're quite fond of.
Yeah, I'm quite a big fan of the new bundles in the App Store, and one of the best ones we've found is the Omni Productivity Pack. This task management, project planning, outlining, and diagramming software suite is absolutely fantastic, highly acclaimed set of productivity apps for your iPad. It's great maybe if you're running a small business or if you just want to give you an edge at work. In the bundle, you get 4 apps, which are worth $34.99 each. These are premium apps designed for business users. And with the bundle of 4, you pay only $94.99. Again, this might sound like a lot of money for an app, but if you think about it in terms of signing up to a monthly subscription to a productivity app online, you might be paying, say, £30 a month. With this, you pay a one-time fee, and that's it. You own the software, you get constant updates, and you never have to pay a penny again. I think it's fantastic. Really helpful. So any small business owners listening out there, check out the Omni Productivity Pack. There will be a link on our website for this episode.
And you can find that on episode 7 of App to Date. Thank you to Cameron for joining me. Thank you for listening in this week. This has been iOS App to Date. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.